great to see a lot of familiar faces here, and I guess when I spoke in Irish earlier, no one really understood what I said. It was basically sit down and be quiet, but in a nice way. Welcome to the Hutt Valley Irish Society. It's a great honour for us to celebrate three people who have contributed a lot to this society over the years. A couple of young fellas and a young one, turning a certain milestone age, which you all know about. They've helped shape this society over the years with their various contributions, and a lot of you people here that sons, daughters, have also contributed, and so it's really us today about saying thank you to you guys, and we really, there's a lot of love here for you, a lot of respect. The three people in question, I'm just going to say them in order of names to come to my head. It doesn't mean older or younger, all right, so don't take offence. Ladies first, Dora Murphy. All the way from Dundalk, I believe, part of Ireland. Johnny Desmond, the Cork fella. He always used to call me Yalanger, and I never really knew what it meant, but I thought it meant something else actually, to what it actually meant. And John Brophy, fellow Dublin man. I'd asked him to stand up, but it might be a bit difficult, I don't know. Yeah, cheeky. I'm wearing a blazer today. It's a blazer that was sort of first put together in 1961 when the club first opened, and some of the older folk may or may not recognise it. So it's kind of like a tip a lid to the past presidents, past people who have contributed, and also to you guys. We got a reasonably full afternoon for you guys, and we've got a bit of entertainment. The kids of society are going to do some singing and some poetry, and then we'll have some background music from musicians that are professional in their day-to-day life, but they went to the wrong address. Funny enough, they went to the embassy and not here, so they're on their way. It's hard to communicate with certain people, I guess. So when Adam and Pat turn up, you might want to give them a bit of a ribbon. So we're very lucky in the society over the years to have had, great musicians, speakers, and people who sort of spread the Irish word through music, poetry, through entertainment stages, actors, all that sort of stuff. And we've tried to keep that going, and so to give you an example of these people in the club currently, I'll ask the singers to come up, who I'm told are first on the list, and their names are Niamh and Kaylee, Isabel, I can't pronounce that, sorry. Kiva. Ashlyn, Molly, Tide, and Brenna.
Good afternoon, and it's just lovely for the children to have the opportunity to sing for some of the best audiences they've ever had. Of course, has been Dora Murphy. She always claps for them and goes crazy when they sing well, and Johnny Desmond, and one of our best teachers over the years, way back when I had kids this size, maybe 20 years ago, was John Brophy. He always taught us how to say the Irish words properly, and I think we're going to have to draft them in again. Don't listen too closely, John, today, but we're going to try and make the best we can of it. And these beautiful children are going to sing, first of all, I'll Tell Me Ma. And if you know the words, please join in. Thanks.
1, 2, 3. Tell me, Ma, when I go home, the boys won't leave the girls alone. They pull my hair, stole my comb, but that's alright till I go home. She is
is Porgy Enemy, and if any of you went to school in Ireland, you'll know this, so sing along with it as well.
Porgy Enemy, Jimmy Coca-Cola, Porgy Enemy, Spile me on. Porgy Enemy, Jimmy Coca-Cola, Porgy Enemy, Spile me on. Porgy Pija, Porgy Nyosa, Porgy Jira, Porgy Enemy, Porgy Jira, Porgy Nyosa, Porgy Enemy, Spile me on. Porgy Enemy, Jimmy Coca-Cola, Porgy Enemy, Spile me on. Porgy Enemy, Jimmy Coca-Cola, Porgy Enemy, Spile me on.
Girls.
Come the day and come the hour, come the power and the glory. We're come to answer our country's call. From the 4 proud provinces of Ireland. Ireland, Ireland, together standing tall. Shoulder to shoulder, we'll answer Ireland's call. From the mighty glens of Antrim, from the rugged hills of Galway, from the wars of Limerick and Dublin's Bay, from the 4 proud provinces of Ireland. Ireland, Ireland, together standing tall. Shoulder to shoulder, we'll answer Ireland's call. Hearts of steel and heads unbowing, bowing never to be broken. We will fight until we can fight no more. From the 4 proud provinces of Ireland. Ireland, Ireland, together standing tall. Shoulder to shoulder, we'll answer Ireland's call.
The last song is one that everybody knows, and it's a very special song for the children. It's Molly Malone. In
Dublin's fair city, where the girls are so pretty, I first set my eyes on sweet Molly Malone. And she wheeled her wheelbarrow through the streets broad and narrow, crying cuckoos and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive.
much. Thanks very much, kids.
And I'll be doing ABC by Spike Milligan. 'Twas midnight in the classroom, and every desk was shut, when suddenly from the alphabet was heard a loud tut-tut. Said A to B, I don't like C, his manners are a lack, for all I ever see of C's is semicircular back. Said D to B, I've never found C so, from where I stand he seems to be an uncompleted O. C was vexed, I'm much perplexed, you criticise my shape. I'm made like this to help spell cat and cow and cool and cape. He's right, said E, said F, whoopee, said G, hooray! You're dropping me, roared H to G. Don't do it, please, I pray. Out of my way, said L to K, I'll make what I look ill. To stop the stunt, J stood in front, and presto, ill was Jill. You know, said V, that W is twice the age of me, for his Roman V is 5, and I'm half as young as he. X and Y yawned sleepily. Look at the time, they said. Let's all head off to Betty Buys. They did, and Z. Hi, I'm Beatrix, and I'm going to be doing The Song of Wandering Angus by W.B. Yeats. I went out to a hazel wood because a fire was in my head, and cut and peeled a hazel wand, and hooked a berry to a thread. And when white moths were on the wing, and moth-like stars were flickering out, I dropped the berry in a stream, and caught a little silver trout. When I had laid it on the floor, I went to blow the fire aflame, but something rustled on the floor, and someone called me by my name. It had become a glimmering girl with apple blossom in her hair, who called me by my name and ran and faded through the brightening air. Though I am old with wandering through hollow lands and hilly lands, I will find out where she is gone, and kiss her lips and take her hands, and walk among long dappled grass, and pluck till time and time has done the silver apples of the moon, the golden apples of the sun.
This is Campbell, and Campbell is going to perform Timothy Dan by John D. Sheridan.
Timothy Dan is a very rich man. He keeps all his wealth in his pockets. 4 buttons, a box, the keys of 2 clocks, and the chain of his grandmother Margaret's locket. A big piece of string, it's a most useful thing. A watch without hands and 3 rubber bands. 5 glassy marbles, some tail ends of chalk, and a squeaker that once made a teddy bear talk. A broken down penknife with only 1 blade, and a little toy boat that his grandfather made. You'd never believe, hearing such a long list, that there's room in each pocket for 1 little fist. You'd never believe that the smallest of boys could carry so much in his wee corduroys.
Geraldine, you want to say? No?
Forgive me for interrupting, but I just wondered if now would be a good time to offer a little poem for my father.
Please do.
And then you can eat as much afternoon tea and chat and laugh.
I'll do it just so that. Then how will I hold everything else?
I'll use my reliable old big voice. Can you hear me down the back, Dad? Only just.
Right, put a bit more into it.
Looking pretty fine.
Geardiv. Forgive my pronunciation, Dad. Having the expert in the house the whole of my growing up, and I don't speak the language to my shame. Hello everybody, I'm Geraldine, and I would like to acknowledge my dad, John Brophy, and Mum, Maori Brophy, and my fellow siblings who are here today, Marie, Paul, Angela and Joseph. Brother Phil was sadly unable to be here, but he, like the rest of us, has contributed equally to our father's hair loss and high blood pressure. Dad has many grandchildren, some of whom are here today, and one great-granddaughter who you might have noticed in the big yellow suit, the Hutt. Now, most of you will be aware that people from the Commonwealth receive a telegram from the Queen when they turn 100. The Irish have a much grander tradition. When they turn 90, they get a letter from God. So, without further ado, I'll read it to you. 2nd of March 2021. God Almighty, Celestial Suite, top floor, heaven. Happy birthday blessings, John Gerard. First of all, I'd like to congratulate you on reaching 90 years of age. You've shown faithful service to me, God, and been a good husband to Mary, with whom you fathered 6 children, all of which still speak to you. St. Joseph, patron saint of fathers, still rates you highly. Ireland in 1931 was a tough place to be born a child. Your namesake, St. Gerard Magella, patron saint of childbirth, I know, only Italians would make a man the patron saint of childbirth. He was looking out for you. He said you made a great fist of early childhood, despite the Christian Brothers Orphanage and their love of the strap. Apparently you gave them what for with your cheeky mouth and the runaround with your clever tricks and steadfast rebellion. May they be in heaven half an hour before the devil knows they're dead. After all, it is my job to forgive everyone. But let's just say, St. Peter has a very long delete list. Leaving Ireland for life on English shores was hard on your wedding day. But St. Patrick set out with you to ward off stray snakes, and the one-day honeymoon of a lifetime in Birmingham was affordable. We won't mention the burst hot water bottle on your wedding night. Moving to New Zealand was the ultimate rescue mission for your family. Everyone got to see the sun for the first time and eat pumpkin for the first time. And St. Christopher said there wasn't too much vomiting on the plane. No matter that nobody couldn't understand their accents, I got St. Jerome onto it, and they speak like proper Kiwis today. Some of them even speak Maori. St. Jude, the patron saint of lost causes, spent a great deal of time at your place, John. Your DIY efforts over the years are legendary. Feathers stuck on by hand to your first marital headboard. Impressive, even if it didn't fit through the bedroom door. And your chicken wire wardrobes at Boyd Grove were ahead of their time, according to St. Jerome. As a gourmet, your curiosity with spices such as mace and chili powder meant dinner was always an adventure, if sometimes a minor first aid affair. And school lunches of marmalade toast were the envy of the discerning few. St. Lawrence, the patron saint of food, has been influential in your continued invention in the kitchen. His suggestion of cold porridge sandwiches, thankfully, you never took up. Another Italian. But one of the greatest achievements of all the many talents I bestowed on you is your singing. Since Cecilia tells me that even from the first, you had a song at the ready. And so you did. I saw you for what you were, a tenor to meet the tune. However, I would like to apologise for making you Irish and teetotal in the same lifetime. As an omnipresent being, I have some understanding of your lifelong predicament due to this handicap. But you've never wavered in your pioneer pledge, not even for a dash of sherry in the Christmas trifle. Good man yourself. And a big shout out to the venerable Nat Talbot from Dublin, patron saint of alcoholics. Because you never needed the devil's own liquor to practice your true vocation. Singing. Singing for me, like St. Cecilia. Singing for joy, for hope, for love and laughter. Singing to make steadfast memories of great moments for many people to treasure. I could have sent you off to be Valdunican, but I knew you never fancied Aaron's sweaters. You're as good as any of them all the same, John. Keep it up. Oh, just one last thing. I would like to point out that your love of cream donuts is a bit concerning, especially when you can't find the one you're currently eating and it turns out you sat on it by mistake. I would like you to meditate on this and evoke the aid of Margaret of Cortona, the patron saint of gluttons. Don't be in a hurry to see me. I've some tasks left before you're finished. Meantime, eat well, keep trying the veganism, get plenty of sleep, and wear your hearing aids. All the best, God. God Almighty, God at Godmail, universe. We love you, Dad.
This will be interesting to see him talk through a mask. Hello there. Jeepers. Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for coming. It's great. Awesome. We're all here to sort of thank our dad for his indulgence with us for all this time. He was born in 1931, obviously, in Ballymagooly in Cork. So he came out to New Zealand in 1952, and he's always been a hard-working dad and a granddad and a great-granddad, and we all love him. So I'm not going to sit here rambling on all night. So, and I'd like to acknowledge John, because we all love John Brophy. I remember him at Barney's funeral when he sung Danny Boy. It was just beautiful. So thank you, John. Jerry Paul got up and just played the guitar beautifully as well. It was one of those moments. So thank you very much. And I'd like to thank Dora, and I remember Dennis. Thank you very much for just being yourselves. Thank you. Someone from Dora's family? Have you got any raffle tickets there, Dora? Fill the gaps.
It's funny you should mention raffle tickets, because that's part of my little speech.
You're going to do it.
My sister Kathy asked me just the other day to say a few words, and I thought, oh, that's short notice. And I wasn't quite sure what I was supposed to talk about. But, well, I figured it was about Mum, so yesterday at work I thought, oh, I've got a bit of time, I'll write a few things down, so here it is. May not be as entertaining as Geraldine's, but I'll do my best. The longest relationship in my life has been the one with my mum. And while I cannot remember the early years very well, Mum has been a constant in not only my life, but in all the families, no matter how close or far away we have been. Like most of the Irish who are here probably now, the older ones particularly, they left Ireland at a reasonably young age, often went to England. In Mum's case, she went with her sister Kathleen and met up with her older sister Mary in Manchester. And one of the things that she did there was worked in a Jewish men's club. So, I could have been something different than I am now. Mum then followed her sister Kathleen out to Australia and lived in Brisbane and Mount Isa. And I understand that Mount Isa particularly was pretty rough going. And after meeting Dad outside church in Brisbane one Sunday, I presume, they got married and eventually moved to Masterton, mainly for the work, and that's where they built their first home and started a family, beginning with Kathy, Kevin and myself. Mum has many stories to tell about that time, including how hard it was to get a place to rent, especially when you were Catholic and pregnant. Then there was that emergency trip to Wellington Hospital by car over the then treacherous Ramataka Hill. And they're old enough to have enjoyed the train ride using the famous Fell engine over the now disused Ramataka Incline railway line. After moving to Trentham and living in the Angus Corporation flats for a while, which I can remember, we moved to Moera, and the house grew over time to accommodate Bernadette and Michelle, along with various cats, dogs and budgies. Mum, like Dad, had a strong work ethic and worked at night as a cleaner with internal affairs, and spent some time at the Lower Hutt Courthouse, where she happily engaged with all of them, including some of the judges. Over the years, Mum has befriended many people, whether they be neighbours, churchgoers, and especially the Josephite nuns at Our Lady of the Rosary School, whether it was providing transport or one of her specialities, marmalade. Mum has always stressed the importance to other women of having a driving licence, as it has stood her in good stead and still does to this day. Mum's links with the Irish community have been especially strong, and I remember attending a number of occasions at, I think it was the St John's Hall in Vivian Street, and the various Irish fishers around the country as Kathy competed in the dancing. Mum's involvement with this society is legendary, especially as I am told, her ability to extort money through the fundraising raffles with a definite how many tickets do you want approach, as opposed to would you like to buy a ticket. Mum has a very good memory and seems to know just about everyone in the Hutt Valley particularly through some connection or other. She's always amazes me that she can recite people's birthdays, wedding days, genealogy, etc. Family has been Mum's life and has given us all the care and advice we've needed, even if we haven't always appreciated it at the time. And while Dad was the builder and did all that sort of work for us, Mum was always there in the background doing the cooking and whatever else was required. Mum's been obviously like a mother to us, but also to others, and has seemingly adopted others into her family, especially if they have no one else to care for them. Even now, she looks out for other residents at Bob Scott, who are younger than herself. Without doing complete justice to Mum, I would sum up her life as being centred around family, faith and friends. Many of you can attest to this, and of course, she has not forgotten her homeland of Ireland, and hence the generous celebration of her forthcoming birthday, and that of John and Johnny, here today by the Irish Society, which as a family we are very grateful for. So happy birthday to all of them, and may God continue to bless them with good health. Thanks, Mum.
One of our older members, Joe Coffey, has expressed a desire to come up and give us a poem, so I can come to you, Joe, or you can come here.
You know who I'm talking about anyway, so there's three great people here today who are celebrating their 90th. I've known them all for quite a while, so I thought I'd come up with something a little bit on the funny side. Okay, so how are you going there, old timer? I've not seen you around. I was talking to somebody who thought you'd gone underground. But I didn't see a notice in the papers I read to confirm the rumours that in fact you were dead. So how's it been, old timer? You're looking quite well for a fella that's travelled and played merry hell. Great to see you, old timer. Let me buy you a beer. It's such a long time since you've been around here. Could you sing an old song like in days that have gone? I'd like to know what you've been up to. Could you talk for a while? You're a sight for sore eyes, and you've still got that smile. So tell me, old timer, where the hell have you been? I think you're good for 100, and congrats from the Queen. Can you tell me, old timer, how long are you staying? I get that depends on who's buying and who's paying. This is probably more fitting for Dora. I didn't mean that last comment. This is the one I mean would be more suited to Dora. Good to see you, old timer. You're still looking the same. You're dressed in the nines. Sure, you're a fine-looking dame. Good to see you, old timers. I hope you all keep well. Please God, we'll all meet again this side of hell.
Thanks, Joe. Just before we go to get food, I would like to ask the ambassador from Ireland, Peter Ryan, to come up and say a few words.
Thanks very much, Gordon Milamagas, Dora, John, Johnny. Tommy, Harvey, Flintock, Yvette, Sholiv. I'm delighted to be here with you. What a great honour it is. I came back from Auckland today, especially to join you here for your special day with your family. Marie, how are you doing down there? Good to see you. Yeah, it's very hard to put into words actually how this feels for me here as the representative, the first official representative of Ireland to New Zealand. Luckily for us, we had quite a few unofficial ones ahead of time. We sent a few stormtroopers ahead of time to scope out the place for us. And they came from a different Ireland. A place where we were only starting to take our first steps as an independent country. Your parents were born when we were under occupation. We were in a very different Ireland. So we were only taking our first steps. Our little country was only 9 years old the year you were born. Our independent country, we're in the middle, we were about to go into a trade war with our big neighbour next door when we couldn't buy and sell things across the channel. Does that sound familiar? And for so many people, the only option was to go to England or to go overseas. When I heard London there, I heard Manchester, I heard Birmingham, it reminded me of the trips that my own family members made, and I know Teresa's family's members made. Some of them kept going, some of them stayed in England and made families there and have communities there, and some of them came about as far away as they could get.
Looking pretty fat. The cheap one,